Hey, everybody. Hope all's well. Let's go ahead and fire away with your questions. You can unmute yourself or type.
And go ahead, Priya, then Lolly.
Hey, Priya.
Good morning. How are you?
Hey.
No, it's actually evening there. Sorry.
Ah,
Um,
it's the inner morning.
yeah. I have adopted a cat yesterday,
Mhm.
and today she's coming home, and she's coming from a foster home,
Mhm.
and she's obviously at that point where she's very shy and timid. And yesterday, when I went there for a meet and greet, she just hid under in a corner somewhere. So today when I go to pick her up, is there any oil that I could put on to just, sort of help with the
I,
bonding
I
side of things?
probably I probably wouldn't wear any oil. Like animals have a strong sense of smell. You know what I would do? I would take little bits of cheese.
Okay,
Give her little bits of cheese. Like
good.
you know, get her
Yeah,
with food. Yeah, yeah. Like,
yeah.
uh I don't know if you guys have uh like if you go to like Costco, I don't know if you guys have a Costco there, but like sometimes you can go to these places and you know how they have jerky? They'll have like a
Yeah.
salmon jerky.
Mhm.
Uh if you want to make fast friends with a cat or a dog, cheese or salmon jerky.
Done. That's
Yeah.
easy.
I appreciate you wanting to do an oil, but like if you really want to like have success in that area, that's what I would do.
Yeah, yeah. And so once she's home, just to, sort of settle her in, because
Yeah.
obviously it's gonna take.
I, I would say as she starts to feel a little comfortable, she's probably going to have like anxiety, and then as she bonds with you, she'll probably have a little bit of separation anxiety. Like with that, you could use like lavender or Roman chamomile or basil, and put like a drop or two on your finger, and then start at the tail and go up the spine. Don't do it right off the bat. Like you're trying to get a squirrel to get out of your hand. Just like don't make any sudden movements, just sometimes the thing with especially with cats is you want to make a connection, so you sit there and look at it almost like look away, like just kind of la 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 la, don't get like really super fixated on her so that she gets to feel that she's in control, and then she gets to choose that she's coming around you, and it might take a little while.
Yeah.
I used to have this alpaca that we got, like he was a couple years old when we got him, and he was super super shy. And if I walked out to even start like kind of walking a little bit towards him, he was like having no part of it. Like, and he was always like super aware. It's like that alpaca knew geometry. Like if I got a little bit past where like I can make a line and keep him like stuck in a spot, like he could figure it out. And so I would just keep like walking a little bit closer to him, and then just like looking the other direction. And then eventually I started bringing treats out, but I would like hold it like way behind me and like look the other direction. And it took a for that animal, it took a couple of months.
Wow.
And but it's almost like you have no agenda with it. It's going to happen. You just got to get them to where they feel safe, basically is what it is. And then it's kind of weird with animals. You'll get it, and then there's just a point where switch will flip. And then they're just like, where are you going? What are you doing? It changes it quite dramatically. So
I
yeah.
do sense a bit of fear also in me. Like I am a bit scared of going too close to the cat, and
Yeah.
uh, there's this. I don't know, and I've adopted a cat, and I'm scared of a cat.
Yeah. Yeah. But like with animals, food usually is what converts them. Like, as much as we try to do all the other things, it's the thing that gets their attention. So
Yes.
yeah,
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
yeah, and enjoy that cat. Send us a picture when you get a chance.
Thank you. Will do.
We're
Yeah.
gonna have like a cute animal wall about
Yeah.
everybody's
Yeah.
pets.
Yeah. Yeah, Teresa's getting a puppy and it's adorable. Oh my God, it's super adorable.
And then go ahead, Lolly, then Robert.
Hey, Lolly.
Hey, so mine is not so cute. All the issues I have to talk about. So let's start with since we're on animals, let's start with bug bites again. So I had this issue, if you remember, a few weeks ago that I got a bunch of them, nothing worked
What was
except
it?
bug bites.
Oh, bites, bites. Okay.
So a few weeks ago, I had an issue, nothing
Yeah.
worked until, right. So yesterday, I got another one on my left ankle on the inside. And I was like, that's, I already have a system going. Well, apparently it didn't work so well. So I did orange healer, everything. So spray, body tonic. I even made like an ointment with the oil itself. I even actually tried doing the lymphatic thing that we did on the weekend with like marjoram and cypress on the area.
And if I remember right, like lavender and chamomile and
Yes,
dry
yes.
chamomile, none of that worked.
I even tried these on top as well. I did galbanum internally and I did antihistamine. So it worked, and also it's one. It seemed that it worked better because it's not itchy. It already felt better last night. The thing is that it's swollen, like it's red all around. So it looks better than it did last time. So something is.
Do you know what's biting you?
It's this weird little flying. It's like mosquito that you don't see they're there, and then you all of a sudden see them, and you're like, oh, you did that.
Right. So it's a mosquito bite. It's not a spider bite.
Yeah, no, it's not a spider bite. No.
Yeah. Hmm. You know how are you with allergies? Like I know you took an antihistamine, but like if you look at like long term, like how are you over the last 60 days or so with allergies?
I'm fine. There's nothing that
You don't get like
there's
itchy eyes, watery eyes, sneezing, weird
sometimes
reactions
the
to
eyes.
food.
No, my skin is really sensitive, so I can get redness from like little things, but overall, and the eyes tend to be weird sometimes just because of my contacts and
Yeah. Okay.
um
Hmm.
so
Having that kind of inflammatory response. I mean, it's usually, because like even when we get sick, like you saw this a lot with some of the variations of COVID. Maybe not the early COVID where we were really on lockdown, but when everything kind of lightened up and COVID or things were going around and people would get sick, but then afterwards the sickness part would go away, but still their nose or mucus, it was just like ugh, it was like it's not pouring out of your nose or having like a lot of congestion and sometimes in these situations even though there was a virus and potentially a bacteria, sometimes we still have an allergic reaction in there. And you could really correlate the inflammatory response with an allergy response. They really kind of vibe with each other. And so do you take much like myrrh? Do you ever take myrrh very much?
no, I can, but no, I don't take it. I
do
take
you have myrrh?
yeah.
Let's have you kind of go kind of hard on myrrh. And the reason being, it's not necessarily for allergies, but sometimes, it's like anything that we talk about in the body. that our responses can get agitated and almost like hyper reactive or overreactive. Like they are reacting with very little stimuli, or they just start running and not shutting off. And sometimes, I mean, it doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes we might have to re-educate some of the responses. And here I would say like the inflammatory response might need a little bit of re-education, because it's seeming like it's a little, that almost doesn't sound hyper reactive. It seems overreactive. Like, you're treating it with anti-inflammatories and it's still not responding. And so I like the idea of you using myrrh internally, and I would go kind of big. I'd go like 4 or 5 drops at a time. Even
Once a day or a few
yeah,
times?
you could do it twice a day, like just to
Okay.
calm everything down.
Okay.
And then like myrrh. That might be enough.
And I'm already doing galbanum and black cumin.
Yeah, you could probably let go of the galbanum and replace it with
Okay.
the myrrh, and then just bump up the dosage, and then I'd still stay on the black cumin.
Okay.
I mean, the black
I'm
cumin
gonna have
you
to.
can bump up a little bit,
Okay.
but trying to see like, I think maybe like balancing out the autonomic nervous system a little bit more might be helpful for you. You don't have a big imbalance, but there is a bit more tone in the sympathetic versus the parasympathetic, which is almost everybody. Like, that's like a really easy thing to say. But yeah, your body's really responding to those. And then, I mean, if you're using anti-inflammatories and an antihistamine, that it's not responding is quite weird. It doesn't mean anything horrible. It's just like something's a little out of whack, something's a little agitated. And so, we could look at it from the point of view of like how we were talking about over a couple of weekends ago, the catabolic state, which is a state of degeneration. But I think for you, I think it's just more the nervous system is probably a little bit imbalanced. And when that part sees it, even as I'm talking it out, it's making more sense to me. When there's an imbalance, if your autonomic nervous system is not quite balanced, so sympathetic activity, which is fight, flight, and action activity, right, is a little more stimulated, lymphatic function goes down quite substantially. And so your ability to deal with inflammation, inflammatory material, wounds, anything like that. That's why, like, if you get a wound, that's the first thing you do is you rest, because you need to not keep staying active. You need your body to rest so that it can start repairing itself. And so you don't necessarily have to do that for, a bite like this, but for whatever reason, your body's not going into that rest mode even when you're sleeping, because like it should technically, like, okay, it's a little swollen, but by the time you go to bed, you put some stuff on it, by the time you get up in the morning, it should be reducing. You know what I mean? Because you've gone a little bit more into rest and repair mode. And so I'd say let's have you use something like either anise or lemongrass. And you could probably just get away with inhaling it, or if you want to do a drop or two in water and take it, you could do that.
In
But yeah, but you could probably get away with just inhaling it, and still do the myrrh, still do your black cumin, and I mean, if you wanted to support it with just fortifying the vagal tone a little bit more, so marjoram, tarragon, the blend vagal tone, something like that. you could do that. But I think it's probably more about balancing it than it is about stimulating it. You know what I mean? It's just like sometimes it gets these glitches in it. And so it's like stress levels and everything in your life's kind of okay.
So,
Like
okay, so let's get to the other parts here. So, oh, and then so the marjoram tarragon taking internally or on the body
no,
temperature?
just inhale. Just to
Okay.
do a little inhalation, like as you're laying down going to bed or something. Just
Okay.
yeah.
So the thing is that body-wise, I'm actually feeling fine. Like there's nothing that I'm
Okay.
like, oh my God, jumps at me. But emotions, so oh, except sorry, body-wise, let's go back. The thing that all of a sudden started yesterday was what I haven't experienced in a while is the pins and needles feeling. That started yesterday.
Where's that happening at?
That's mostly lower back, sometimes the legs a little bit, but
Okay.
yesterday all of a
That could be
sudden.
why your nervous system's out of balance.
And I saw the
Exactly.
email, and I saw that there's a pattern to do with that from the class that we did on the weekend. You even put it on the email.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if it. So that's body-wise, that's the only thing that I'm like, something is.
Okay. So let's visit some things here. Do you have let me look at my notes here real quick. What pain oils do you have?
I have ointments from pain relief, arnica, joint relief.
Mm-hmm.
I have, what else do I have? I have spikenards, a spikenard, I have tagats. And then for oils, I have a small size of the nerve help. And I have body tonics, nerve help, marjoram, a bunch of pain relief.
And just regular pain relief.
Yes.
What about peppermint? Do you have peppermint?
Dev oil, yeah, I have peppermint oil, yeah.
So you're getting pins and needles down in like the lumbar, like below the Mingmen?
Mostly yes, but then when it gets really weird, like yesterday, all of a sudden, it gets like all over, like my spine. Yeah, yesterday was like, even when I was trying to meditate, yeah, the spine, like all down the spine.
Like from how high?
Definitely above the migment, even above the solar plexus. But usually when I get it, it's lower back, like
Okay.
around the basic, I guess. A little bit over.
And how are your hamstrings? Are your hamstrings real tight? Do you have issues with
Yeah.
hamstrings?
They're kind of fine. I don't do as much exercise as I should, but when I touch them, yes, they are like, yeah, I feel them. I've been trying to massage them a little bit more and work on them more. I also use a trigger point blend earlier.
I would use peppermint or corn mint and inhale it into the lumbar spine. And I'd even put a little bit, like for me, I just put it on neat, but it can be a little tangy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, you could put it on a little lotion or a little massage oil or something, but really hit that whole, like from the Mingmen down. And I'd even rub it into the butt cheeks, even though it's probably more spine, because the thing is like body tension and tension in the legs will really manifest in the lumbar. And so, like a lot of times, if you look at somebody energetically and there's body tension, it would be like, oh, there's tension in the neck, there's tension in the upper back, mid back, and then you get to low back, and it's just like bam, it's just like crazy. And sometimes it can be adrenal activity, sometimes it's just body tension. Sometimes there's tension in the legs. Are you grinding your teeth at all or anything like that?
Probably, yes. I mean, it's an ongoing thing, even if I don't feel it because of my jaws. And stress levels, it's been, I don't know why. Like there's a lot of things that are not working out right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of,
Well, that's probably why.
but
Like, you
I've
know what I
been,
mean? It's
but the amount of Melissa that I've been taking the last few days because things been so feeling off. So
uh
it's not even stress and it's not sadness. It's this blah, like things not feeling good type of feeling.
Sure.
And it's been a while since I felt like that. And I was like, okay, so yes, I've been taking more Melissa than usual.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's all probably
Yeah, so rotate other things that also reduce agitation, like yarrow and larch. Do those things. So I would put peppermint also on the calves. Like I would treat the calves, like from, a little bit below the knee all the way down to the Achilles tendon. I would, rub it in like again with lotion or massage oil or something. And the idea being that it it has a calming effect on the whole body. You know how we were talking about marjoram or not marjoram, larch,
yeah.
like kind of relaxing that like metabolic instability kind of. Um Peppermint can do that too. Like if you have larch, I'd use larch, but I mean I kind of like the idea of the
I just
peppermint
ordered.
because you're having like back issues. I would
Oh,
even
I
kind
have
of
large actually.
rotate it a little bit. And so, that you're getting pins and needles because the thing too is the deeper calf muscle, like below the gastrocnemius, there's a muscle called soleus or soleus, however you want to say it. Um, and that's the one when it's tight, it really flares up in the jaw and like that
Mhm.
calf muscle can even cause like low back issues, low back pain, low back tension, and let's treat it in the low back and let's also treat it in the calf and
Yeah.
like have you go that direction with it and just try to calm the body down. Yeah.
Okay. So
because
yes,
because it's like a lot of the systems can be fine, but you'll still get like sometimes you'll just get like a system or set of responses that just get super agitated. And as much as the rest of the body's doing okay, like slowly it'll have a cascading effect and just starts making everything get wonky. And so I would say let's contain it and have you treat that and see how that treats the lumbar area. And I mean, I would even be curious to see how it affects the neck and then even your response with like the bug bites.
okay.
It's not necessarily a treatment for bug bites, but
Yeah.
if the body's in a like that state, like how we were talking about over the last couple of weekends, your body's in that state where these things happen. As much as you chase symptoms, it becomes non-responsive, and you already have like these bug bites
Yeah.
not responsive. So let's just treat it as if there's
Hmm.
a something going on with the state of the body and start calming that down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And I mean, and that's the thing, like even with my neck or my jaw, it
Yeah, yeah.
actually but it's not, it doesn't feel more agitated. My back is not even like the things that usually jumps and are an issue, I don't actually feel those. But okay, I'll try. So peppermint and larch, I have the oil, and I just ordered the body tonic.
Yeah.
Um,
Just rotate them back and forth and stuff.
and would
Mhm.
APR do something? Not really.
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so I'll do
yeah,
those. I'll do
yeah.
more internally, and then black cumin. Should I do that? I have the complex as well. Does it matter?
Yeah, either one. Either one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Tomorrow night, like I'm cleaning up a bunch of notes for you guys, that are all related to pain and the different like pain blends and like how they affect both symptoms and the state of the body. And
Mhm.
so what I'm doing is I'm taking all the things like pain blends that you would have, like, because there's like 12 of them or something, and like doing bullet points on like these are the symptoms it treats, and this is the different kinds of aspects of like the vibrational state that it treats.
Mhm.
And so like the thing that you would want to target here is that metabolic instability, and like pain relief neuropathic does it, and you're dealing with pain, like tingling is nerve pain, but also pain soothe does it.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I have pain soothe. I said I had pain relief, I think, but I actually have pain soothe.
Yeah, use pain soothe. Pain
Okay.
pain relief, the inflammatory one, inflammation,
Mm-hmm.
and king of pain, but that one's not very common.
Yeah.
But like all of those will help with the ones that we just mentioned, will help with helping to reduce that metabolic instability, which is like when everything just starts going haywire, you
Yeah.
know. And my body has that issue. Like I'll be fine, and all of a sudden it's just like somebody threw a firecracker in my body, and it's just like starts setting stuff off, and like I'll be fine for a really long time, like a
Mhm.
year, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden it usually happens to me in late spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, like late spring every not every year, but it's when I got to be like a little extra careful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what happened to all of this. And then
Yeah.
should I also do one of the other processes from the
I'd stick with what we're talking about. Like if you want to do the process out of the vibrational class, do the one for metabolic instability. Yeah, which is,
Okay.
if I remember right, is the thing with Larch.
Okay, and then do the org programming
Mm-hmm.
before. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And by the way, for the org programming for all these processes and protocols, you're doing the basic one, but would you actually do the advanced?
Yeah, if you have time, like I mean that's a big push, but like if you have time, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So I'll look that up.
You,
Okay.
you know, there's one, like I almost mentioned it in the when we were doing the vibrational class. You know, we weren't really talking about org programming too much, but you know, if you look at the anabolic state, which is a state that you reach when you're sleeping, and it's like how your body goes into repair mode. Like if you can hit that anabolic state, it's like your body will reboot, and there it reboots the nervous system, the immune system, the endocrine system, and like the muscular system, like your muscle. And so it's how it prevents the body from generating like trigger point activity and, you know, tight muscles and everything. And so you could do a stack for the immune system, the nervous system, the endocrine system, and the muscular system. And that would be a stack for the anabolic state.
Hmm.
We should put that in the newsletter.
Yeah.
Okay.
I meant to put it in Monday, but I got so excited about other things I forgot.
Yeah.
But like
So you're adding immune system, endocrine system, nervous system.
nervous system, and then the muscular system.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you'd be using like what? You'd be using immune support, nerve help, endocrine support, and then what's that one? Warming muscle
Support,
tonic or
it's
support, warming muscle support. So yeah, do them in whatever order, but
Okay.
that combination in theory like is targeting the anabolic state, but from the point of view of the aura. And when we're looking at auric programming and that whole aura series, you're looking at the potentials in the body, good or bad. When they're not good, you have bad potentials in the body. When they're running really good, you have good potentials in the body. So by going through and treating that aura like that, you're generating good potential in those systems, but also in that that anabolic state, so your body has a greater potential of rest and repair. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it feels okay. Thank you. And yeah, and I don't know why. I don't know what happened because usually with my mood and
Yeah.
my emotions,
There's
I'm on
no
track.
reason. Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason. I mean, you know, like when we're younger, our body's a little bit more resilient and we kind of can go like, oh, it's this or it's that. But, you know, even then, like things, just weird things can start happening. But, you know, as we get older, it's not even so much that the body's getting older, but you're way more water under the bridge for your body. And
Mhm.
so it just takes, you know, a little push sometimes, and it doesn't seem proportional, but it's because you're already like some part of the body was already on the edge, you know,
So
and so yeah,
so basically,
it just happens. Yeah,
even the emotional side
it could be
is pretty much.
emotional, it could be, you know, because like even when I'd travel with athletes and stuff when I was younger, like if I was treating them at the beginning of a season, their body would respond. You know, these are like super young, super healthy people, you know, men and women. But you get them towards the end of the season, you could just look at them wrong and they would start having, you know, weird
Mm-hmm.
things happen in their body. And it's just because their body had been through so much. And, you know, it had nothing to do with age. It just had like there was a lot of water under the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And so you know, we have the stresses, we have, you know, poor sleep, we have, you know, whatever's been going on. And, you know, in those states, it does still produce emotion. So, like, you know, I always try to calm down the emotion, but the emotion isn't always the problem. It can be, but you know, it's not always the issue, but like it still needs to be managed because part of like what makes that go like super crazy is if the homeostatic emotions start getting really going crazy, it just like it goes way worse. And so the Melissa is helping, but yeah.
So really, so alternate that
Mhm.
with yarrow. Anything else that can be? I mean, I just took yarrow.
Yarrow, Larch, the Melissa is good. Um, I mean, I've tried some other things, but those are pretty solid. Um, you know, I did a little thing for a little while where I was trying Cape Snowbush, and it was like it was okay. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad. But I mean, I like these other choices better, and even the myrrh should help. You know,
Okay.
even the myrrh should help. So,
Okay. Because it's
um,
because usually I do the spagyric tincture from Melissa, but the
yeah,
last few and I kind of but the last few days I actually switched and I'll be doing just Melissa because it tends to work a little bit
yeah.
stronger for me.
The essential oil is, you know,
Yeah.
when you start getting it's like it's um yeah, I like when I really need it, I'll actually throw them both down, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear you on that.
So, but even and it's like things that don't make sense to me because it's like things that not working out, but at the same time things that are amazing that are kind of solving kind of sort of some of the problems are fine. And I'm like, something is not balanced. So okay, I'll work on all of the okay.
Yeah, but I would say if there's like you know, you're talking about work, so even if other things are happening and they're great, unless it's compensating for like the lack of work, like other
It's
things might be good, but if it's like it's not getting
mm,
work or generating revenue or
it's
something, there's still
exactly.
a little bit of like
Yeah,
you
because
know what I mean? Like there's
yeah,
still you have
because
we all have very primal drives about, you know,
I mean
making that happen. Yeah.
exactly because it's work,
Yeah.
it's money in general. Now I have to
Yeah.
change. I have to get a new car because it's going to be a better option than fixing my car.
Sure.
All these things that are like coming up all of a sudden, like what just
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I need to get more clients for, also healings and
Mhm.
combination of things that okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Seriously.
So then let's do a couple of products questions that are related to what we just talked about. So let's stay with Melissa for a second, because we love that. So there's now all these like new options for Melissa.
Yeah, like it took me a while to track them down, but we got like a Melissa from Serbia and a Melissa from UK. And so they're not quite as potent as the one that we have right now, but they're also a lot cheaper, and you take an extra drop or two or something. And the best of all the worlds is to do a Supreme. So, we can kind of hit it different ways. And so I just tried, because Melissa is so amazing, I just want to try to make it as cost effective for people as possible. And so, even the Serbian, it's still like 80% of the premium Melissa that we've been using. But for me, like a lot of times when I'm buying the oils, like I won't like just get like, oh, there's a Melissa. Like I was like, I want the best Melissa possible. And so like ginger is a good example. I pay more than double what normal ginger is to get this like fancy ginger. And I leave the price the same, but it's like, if we're gonna play with ginger, let's not screw around. Let's get the really therapeutic ginger. And so, I started thinking about it. I was like, let's maybe track down some other Melissas. They still weren't really good. It's just they're not quite as potent as the premium ones, but that's okay.
So the difference would be that they're doing the same thing, but not
they're all the same. They're same plant.
fast. So not as fast, not as effective.
No, it should be fast. It's just maybe not quite as potent. Still like 80% or so.
Okay, so then, and now what would be the difference between the Supreme and the one that we've been using? The Supreme has the UK and the Serbian, but what's difference? But what's the difference in terms of like the quality and what it does?
It would still be pretty potent. Like Supremes are usually about 3 times more potent energetically than the single. And so, because you're getting the same plant from different regions, so you're technically doing like a broader spectrum of that plant, because the plant's always reacting to its environment. And so you're taking a plant from 3 different environments, and so it's going to have some slight variations. And so you put them all together, and it's like a fuller spectrum of what that is. And so, if you're going for most bang for the buck, I'd probably do the Supreme. It's a little bit less. I don't know. It's like $25 less or something, and you're getting all of them in there. And so,
but it's still the one that we've been using is still going to be a stronger version than the Supreme.
It's pretty premium. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the best one on the market. Like I've searched high and low for that one, and it's by far the best one. But in the Supreme, you're still getting some of that. So.
Yeah. Okay. So that was, and then the other question that I wanted to ask was about Larch, because again, we've been talking about it so much. So the Larch body tonic, I already ordered it, but just the one you have on the website right now is Larch Blue Lotus body tonic. What does that do? So it gives Larch and the Larch benefits, and how is the Blue Lotus? Like,
it's helping to calm down parts of the nervous system like a little bit deeper. And like the Larch is very good for the motor nerves. The Blue Lotus, it does calm down the nervous system and improve like vagal tone and things like that. But it also has a big impact on the rhythms of the body. And so you're not doing something where they both do the same thing, but you're starting to treat things in the body that like kind of complement each other. And so that combo is actually quite nice. Yeah.
Which kind of sounds like it's pretty much exactly what I need.
Yeah, it's a nice
Okay, well,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
on the way.
Yeah.
So thank you. And then one more thing, if you don't mind looking at something for me. As I mentioned, I have to buy a new car. I have an option. I just need to close the deal. It's a big thing, so I'm kind of can you kind of take a look, tell me if it feels like it's the right, like if it's the right decision to go with the person, with this deal, with whatever I have right now.
What am I looking at?
So basically, I have to buy a new car. So I have a deal on the table. Like I just need to say yes, it's a go. So and because it's a big purchase, I'm kind of.
And do you have a car payment right now, or your car's paid off?
No, it's paid off, and I'm getting help to be able to buy this car.
How old of a car is it? How
The
old?
one I'm getting? New.
Brand new?
Yeah. Mine has some issues. It's time to replace it, and because it's gonna cost, seems like it's gonna cost quite some money, so
Yeah, it looks okay. Your insurance is probably going to go up a bit.
yeah. And I'm basically selling the other one, and then I'm using some of the money.
Just be a little extra careful for the first couple months, maybe.
Okay, what?
Yeah, it's just like a little, like I see it like a potential of like a little fender bender or something.
Okay.
That would be in whatever car you were driving.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? But like you got a new car, like just be like maybe a little extra careful for a little bit.
Okay. But okay. And the
You know, like
purchase.
when you get like a new car or something, you get a little like zippy, like, oh, this thing really moves, or this like try to
Yeah.
from that for a little bit, just for like a couple months. Yeah.
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 Okay.
But after a couple months.
After a couple months, I say take it on the freeway and open it up.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So, but
Yeah,
it
you're
looks,
welcome.
but it looks like an okay decision, like going with that specific person, and
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look amazing, but it doesn't look bad.
oh, whoa, okay. I kind of
Yeah.
want, so amazing means what? Keep looking or go with somebody else?
I mean, especially with car deals these days, it's hard to find amazing. You know, they're all about.
Yeah.
You
It
know.
feels like it's because I'm not sure also how much I can get for the older one. It's like
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much. Thanks.
And then go ahead, Robert, then Barbara.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, Greg. A question about a friend of mine. My acupuncturist was in a traffic accident end of August. And she totaled her car. She's doing relatively well. She fractured C2.
Ooh.
And she's in pain
Yeah.
and supposedly seeing the pain specialist tomorrow to consult about how to shift medications. But she's also, I know she has galbanum, and I asked her to at least apply it to the wrists. And she says it's difficult because there's so many things moving. She can't tell what's working and what's not. So I'm sort of like just planning ahead. She thinks she's going to get it down, be able to take less pain medications. So I want to be prepared with I'll say a more comprehensive plan for pain for her, as well as healing of the bone. So what are the possibilities? She's 65 years old.
And is there any underlying issues or like she doesn't have like osteoporosis or anything like that, or
She definitely has arthritis. I don't know if it's osteoporosis, arthritis in her hands.
so she hit somebody hit her, like from the side, from the back, from the front, do we know?
I don't know. I can try and text her and come back
No,
later.
it's okay. Like I'm just curious, Martin. And so it was the end of August. So where was
Yes.
it?
Just 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. And have you seen her in person?
No, I have not.
Is she complaining about either shoulder or anything like that?
No, she's been talking. When I've messaged her to see how she's doing, it's more about the pain that she's dealing with.
Okay.
She says, everything is fully functioning. I'm very lucky. A lot of nerve pain up the left side of my head.
Off the left side. Well, I would say a couple of things. I know like there's the pain, but I would say also the shoulders need to be stabilized because she has a thing where the left shoulder is going to continue to contract and the right shoulder is going to lose tension and start to hang a little bit, like like this. Like it's not like her body's misaligned, but it's like this is starting to lose tone, which throws this one into contraction. And so what will happen a lot of times with whiplash or neck injuries is you get a thing where this starts happening.
Okay.
And like things like spikenard, valerian, vetiver, myrrh, like on the shoulders, just like up here. Like it doesn't have to be anything too crazy, but the thing with the C2, radiating up the head, I mean, that sounds like it's I can't remember the name of that muscle. It's like splenius something. Splenius capitis. Cervix. Cervicus. Splenius. Cervicus. No. Yeah, it's semispinalis capitis. Um, okay, we're gonna post a picture to you here real quick.
Okay.
Give me a sec. It takes a minute for it to come in on my side.
And did you say spikenard, valerian, or vetiver on the shoulders?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Both
you could still
shoulders.
do it up on this area on the back of the neck, but there's other things involved. But I think this one, if you kind of target this, it'll probably help to start resolve that. And
Okay.
so,
Sharing now.
pain, so sharp stabbing pain. So, you know, you can kind of see like it's mid neck and then a little bit higher up.
Oh, interesting.
And it's you'll like if you're rubbing it in like something there, like I would like have her like take it and then like not just like apply it, but kind of like go. You know, because you're wanting to generate some like friction on the skin to open up the blood vessels to make it go deeper.
I
Like
couldn't
if
see
that
what
makes
you
sense.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
like
there you go.
I kind of went like,
Oh, so friction.
yeah, like some friction where you just like, and it doesn't have to be intense, but just like, you know, like, you know, like a dog trying to scratch its ear or something.
Yeah. She
Yeah. And so I would do that.
Did she take anything internal? You know, I know black
The
cumin.
myrrh might not be bad. Spikenard might not be bad. The galbanum, like if it's not working, I'd probably switch over to myrrh or spikenard. I'd probably go myrrh.
Okay.
But topically, it's probably pretty inflamed. And I would probably use like yarrow and German chamomile. So this is what I used to do like in person when I would have whiplash people, is like when that neck and like bottom of the skull would get really wound up. And so since she has a fracture in C2, I'd put that in there. But
Yes.
I'd have them lay like on a table face down, you know, like her acupuncture table or like a massage table or something, you know, so her neck's not, you know, off to the side. And then I would take like a pipette and put St. John's wort in it. And then I would kind of palpate around at the base of the skull, and you can feel like where those muscle attachments are. And you just kind of release a couple little drops of St. John's wort all along that area. And you know, for one, St. John's wort, it has some anti-inflammatory properties, but it's a blood purifier, and it's also very good for nerve pain. And so the idea was that you kind of open up that area. I didn't usually have to do it more than once or twice, but you go through a lot of St. John's wort doing it. And so one of the ways that I would like try to stretch it out is I would take like a little bottle of St. John's wort and I would mix like grain alcohol in with it. Like, so that was like even. So like 2 mils St. John's wort, 2 mils grain alcohol, shake it up and then drop it on the spots. But you want it to be kind of strong. And that would help unwind that. Now, if you didn't have the St. John's wort and, you know, St. John's wort's it's not crazy priced, but it's a little pricey. And so if you're trying to do it with something else, I mean, you could try it with vetiver, like all along the base of the skull, but you know, part of it is she's got the injury site, she's got a spasm in and around the broken bone. You know, depending on which direction she hit, she's compromised the sternocleidomastoid somehow. You know, this way and this way, it just compromises different parts of the sternocleidomastoid. And then there's this other muscle called the levator scapula that goes kind of like from behind the ear, like down to your shoulder blade. And that one can get a little funky too in a whiplash. And so like when you're treating along the whole base of the skull, you're really treating a lot of different muscles where they attach to the skull. And so you don't have to be super good at evaluating which muscle's doing what. You just kind of shotgun it all across the back there. And then I would still put something that's soothing and relaxing. You're already like looking at working with like myrrh or spikenard or something like that. I just work it up into the side of the sternocleidomastoid, each side of your neck or her neck, and do that. And one of the big things with any sort of nerve pain is start treating it as bronchial spasms as well, because the bronchial spasms are happening because of the nerve pain. And when the bronchial spasms happen, it amplifies nerve pain. So it's like they start going back and forth with like how they're magnifying that. And so the more that it's not even just deepening the breath, but you really need to take the spasms out of the bronchioles. It'll help to relax the neck, and it will help to relax the diaphragm. And so, larch, all the things we know, like larch, hyssop. I kind of like larch for that. Like back in the day, I didn't have larch, but if I did, I would have been all over larch. I used to use hyssop, like hyssop or Sitka. Frankincense would work too. Anula, German chamomile would be another one that can work really well. But all those things that are for bronchial spasms.
How about bronchioles itself?
Yeah, that would be perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what that's for. Yeah.
I have a feeling that would be something that would make her feel better.
Yeah. But like the thing is, it's like how we've been talking about like the state of the body versus symptoms. The state is going to stay bad for a while. So even when you're treating symptoms, it's not always the greatest right off the bat. So like, we're talking about treating the symptoms. Some of those oils are also helping the state of the body, but just, like opening up the bronchioles and things like that's all helpful, but still, like I would probably do things that diminish the catabolic state in the body. So, the trigger point blend or ginger or cedar, things of that nature, just to unwind that state, so that eventually what happens is they'll start responding much better to the treatment. They should start responding right off the bat, but you want like a deeper effect and longer lasting effect. And that's the thing with whiplash is, you might have a set of symptoms, but because the body is in a degenerative state, like you'll look back and like 2 weeks later, like, you think I'm resting, I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to be doing, I feel worse. It's because the body is degenerating. I was just having this conversation with somebody after the vibrational thing, and she goes, you made my whiplash make sense, because they would go and they would get healings, and it was back in the day where Master Joel was still in the body. And so he would do healings on the person, and then, she'd walk away and people would go, no, don't drive back and don't do this and don't do that. You're healed. Like, it happened right after the accident. You got a healing. And she goes, but I didn't feel better. Like I kept feeling worse and worse and worse. And she goes, I started feeling bad about myself because I was like, am I drawing this back? And she goes, like hearing the explanation, she goes, now I understand what happened is your body just goes into this degenerative state and it just keeps going down that weird rabbit hole. And she goes, it took a while for my body to stop. And I mean, I've seen cases where it was years before the body pulled out of it. And so the more that you can try to, like that second day of the vibrational class, like at least the chair point thing, but like for the catabolic state, but as much as you can do some of that stuff, like right now her spinal thalamic tract is not too bad, but give it a couple weeks, it will start happening. And the thing with the spikenard and the myrrh and stuff on the shoulders, it will help to balance out muscle imbalances. But part of what it's also doing is keeping that spinal thalamic tract like calm, so that it doesn't keep magnifying the pain. And that's what galbanum does. That's what taking myrrh does. That's what taking spikenard does. Like any of those things, that's what it's doing, is it's keeping that pain like channel, like how we process pain. It's keeping it all calm, so it doesn't like take a two from the body and goes, oh, you have two, and let's bump it up to an eight. Like, because your body does do that. And so perfect example of that is chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia. Like it amplifies the pain in the body because that spinal thalamic tract is like super, super agitated. And so, it's a little bit of like you're playing like a zone defense. You just start doing stuff, and because it's an injury, so it's not always predictable what's going to happen, but enough of like, okay, I'm watching the areas. And then when you see something starting to flare up, you okay, calm that area down. Okay, zone. Okay, calm that down. And then eventually at one point, the body just goes, okay, let's regenerate. But you're kind of having to just be very diligent about watching it for a little bit. And it's good she's an acupuncturist, so she knows she's got to rest a little more and do the things that she's doing. But pain is very agitating to the body, and she's been displaced in her life. You know what I mean? So she's thinking, how do I hold my business together? How do I do this? How do I do that? So there's going to be other agitating factors that play a role. And if she has kids, then how do I juggle the kids? What about, whatever any of this is going on? And so, you do need a little bit more rest after something like that. But a lot of times the person has a hard time, just like, it's not always practical, but it's hard sometimes just to go, let's let the body rest. And it's still treatable even if they don't rest a whole bunch. You just got to be a little bit more diligent about the state of the body and then maintaining some sort of effort on the symptoms.
Right.
And
She's,
so,
from what I understand, she's not doing much, and she sounds pretty compliant at this point.
yeah, she's an
And
acupuncturist. She knows better. You know
right,
what I mean?
exactly.
Yeah.
In the past, you've talked about the shock of the accident and doing maybe tarragon or
Yeah,
benzoin.
you still could do that. Like
Okay.
um it's, tarragon, benzoin, rose, neroli. I usually go tarragon. Just because, like, a lot of times what happens is after a whiplash, it doesn't happen right off the bat, but it's usually several months down the line. The digestive tract starts to become kind of stress plagued. And so treating things with tarragon right off the bat, like with an injury like that, really reduces the potential for there to be digestive issues later. And I mean, this is like kind of a harsh thing to say, but like if the accident was strong enough, the digestive issues are coming. They're just, the email's been sent. It's just
It's when it
it's
arrives.
6 months or 9 months down the line. It's usually not right off the bat, but eventually it's like it just happens really slowly. But
And
like you look back in a year and you're like, all of a sudden there's some digestive issues and there's some, don't, not digesting the food as well. And the body gets a little agitated when you eat, and you start having constipation, maybe a little diarrhea. It's just like it's not like a major problem, but things aren't functioning like they should. And so treating those things kind of early, um just treating potential conditions. It's almost like you're doing prevention if you know that, like, okay, these things are potentially an issue, then let's start treating it before they manifest. And even if they manifest, they're usually substantially less than if you hadn't been treating them. But and like more severe accidents, like there was usually, you know, there's all the injuries, and then there starts to be digestive issues, and then usually blood pressure and migraines start to happen. And you know, they happen out far enough to where most people would say, oh, the migraine has nothing to do with the accident. But it's because there's been so much time and the body's been degenerating for so long. And so
Is
you know,
the
starting to just nip all that stuff before
right?
it's getting there is like you just start shotgunning all that stuff. And you know, even if the person feels a little bit better for a little bit, it's like, oh, okay, but still you got to keep working on the state of the body for a while. And even when symptoms diminish, it's still the body went through a pretty significant trauma. Yeah. Yeah.
And is the tarragon benzoin inhaled?
Yeah, you could just have her inhale it. I mean, she can inhale it just by itself, or she can inhale it for a little while and then put her awareness on her gut, you know, and that should be enough. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I will get to her and figure out what we're gonna do.
yeah.
And if
And
anything,
you know, I'm glad to, you know, talk it out or shoot emails if we need to make adjustments. But I mean, I don't want to throw a bunch of things at her. She's also doing acupuncture and herbs, and you know, she's doing all the stuff she knows. So this
yeah,
is just a way to kind of complement things that she's already doing. But it should be very, very helpful. Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. And then you know, when you're doing healing and stuff, stress and trauma, like in the body, like not even in the chakras, in the body. You know, just like target stress and trauma.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll be in like weird places. Like it won't always be where you think it would be. You know,
Mm.
like for her, like I can see some right now in her liver.
Ooh.
Yeah. And you know, you wouldn't think like, oh, I have whiplash, I got to treat my liver. You know, but
No.
it's not a physical thing. You know, it's a byproduct of homeostatic emotions. And so it's going to start hitting like little spots. And so the liver would dictate the it would dictate or be an like a reflection of the aura. And like if you see like after an accident like that, okay, it's hitting the liver, that means the energy body is doing something. Like the trauma is still in the aura. And so what happens is then the ability to draw energy in and expel that energy off becomes diminished. And so any sort of aura work, however you want to do it, but the aura needs to be cleansed and then work the liver and then go back to the aura and then work the liver and then go back to the aura. You know, it's like you're flushing out the trauma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That part of this is she knows she needs help, but she's used to doing everything through acupuncture, or
Sure.
primarily through it.
Yeah.
So
Still a
part of
good,
this
great way
is
to treat it. Like, I mean, acupuncture is very effective for accidents.
right. And part of this is helping her to understand that there are other ways. And if I
Sure.
can say, you know, what you're feeling in your liver when you take your pulse, well, we need to treat that.
Right.
And she'll go,
Right.
oh, okay. You
Right.
know, so something concrete will help her.
Right. 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 Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Barbara, then Channing.
Hey, Barbara.
Hey there. A few things for you.
Uh-huh.
I had oral surgery this morning and there's a lot of swelling in my left cheek, and some discomfort. And I don't know if the discomfort's from the swelling or if it's referred pain from the upper jaw where the excisions would make.
So you had something pulled, or you had something drilled, or you got a
I had 2 teeth pulled, a broken molar and the wisdom tooth on the other side of it.
oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. There's still a little bit of bleeding. It slows
Yeah.
down, but after I had a soft supper, it picked up a little bit. The first time I iced my face for the swelling, it picked up a little bit. I was wondering if it picks up again, what about putting a couple drops of yarrow on the gauze to pack it with?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Especially yarrow, because like the yarrow anti-inflammatory and will help to reduce bleeding. And even if the bleeding has stopped, you're eating food and it's soft food, but it's still going to get irritated for a little bit. It will just keep all of that down. And like helichrysum, yarrow is also good for any sort of clotting. And so, if it's excessively bleeding, it would help calm that down. Um, you could also,
Possibly they put in
Mhm.
a collagen, something to help it clot. Would
Okay,
oil interfere with that at all, or is it okay?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'd
Okay.
like to be able to tell you, oh, yes or no or whatever, but I'm not really sure. But if you're able to eat food, I mean, even if you just gargled with a little bit of yarrow, but even if you don't put it right on the spot, I mean, that's the great thing with essential oils. You could put it like, a little bit farther forward, but on the gum line.
Okay.
And, it'll taste a little weird, but the yarrow will still help that spot. And, I don't want to interfere with the things that they put in by putting yarrow directly on that area, but I would put it by the area. That I'd feel super comfortable with.
Okay.
And then like, black cumin,
Yeah.
galbanum, myrrh, something like that.
Done the black cumin and the galbanum.
Yeah.
Myrrh internally?
Yeah. Like all of that. Like the galbanum you could get away with on the wrist, but you can double up, triple up on that. Like you could go kind of crazy with it. But definitely the black cumin, and if you're doing 3 drops, you can even do it 2 or 3 times a day, like not just once, just for like a few days, just to calm everything down. But yeah,
And the swelling itself, would something like the marjoram cedar thing help at all, or is it just time?
I'd probably just do the things that we talked about. Like I
Okay.
would probably give it like a couple of days, and then you could do the marjoram cedar thing. But like right off the bat, I would just let the processes happen, what's happening, because there's going to be stages of that. You're basically dealing with a wound. There's like stages of that wound healing. And I would wait a day or two, like maybe 2 days, and then you could start doing that, externally.
Okay.
Yeah. If you wanted to like make it go a little faster, is you could take like a drop or two of the marjoram and then either the cedar or cypress, and then rub it on the roof of your mouth. Like rub one up there, let it go for a little bit, like, maybe a couple minutes, and then do the other one. And so you're not necessarily treating the site here or there, but if you look at the mouth, the area that is the most lymphatically stagnant in that area is the roof of your mouth. And so,
When I have used cypress internally, makes my lips swell.
oh, yeah. Do you have cedar?
Yeah, I have cedar.
Yeah, just do it with cedar then.
I
Yeah.
don't think of using cedar
Yeah.
internally. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could do cedar internally, but here you're still doing that like topically. You're not necessarily like swallowing. I mean, you are getting some of it down, but it's fine to use that way.
Okay.
Yeah. 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 I
Thank
remember that. That's a little weird that you get a little swelling with cypress. It's
Yeah,
just
like
some.
both my lips
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
um thank you. I had another cholesterol
Yeah. Yeah.
report done.
Oh, what they say?
LDL is the same. And
Wow.
this time was like 9 months with the rosemary verbena and Spanish sage, like several drops a day, and didn't budge.
Did not budge at all.
No, like 2 points. Still in the 150s.
No, that's kind of nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So mostly for feedback. I don't know if there's a plan to
Yeah.
see.
I mean, that happens sometimes.
I mean, it's not astronomical, but it's a little high.
And where's it at?
The LDL, the unhealthy one is in the 150s. It's like 153, 157. It's been in that range for 2 years now. With both of your formulas. The big picture looks worse because with the tachycardia, I was afraid to
Right.
exercise for a long time and I gained a little weight. So I know the whole profile needs to improve, and I think it will with time, but the LDL is just not budging.
So I think I would address you know, from the vibrational class, that catabolic state with the trigger point blend. Start doing that one little segment in the class, like maybe if you can do it daily, like even just 10 minutes of it every day, like let's have you do that. But if you can't, even every other day, that way potentially it helps your body be more responsive to the treatment happening.
Okay.
You might even want to do like the process in that segment and then even focus on the liver itself. You know, so like do the process and then go, okay, keep inhaling it and then just go right to the liver. But I think just doing the process should help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And is
Yeah.
that specific to this or a total body?
Like any
have
time that the body is not responding to like a treatment, that especially a treatment that we know like has some sort of impact there. Like that's the thing you always go, okay, what state is the body in that's not causing it? And like it might not have the catabolic state across the board in the body, but there can be like regions or areas where the body is having that catabolic state. And you know, livers fall in that arena. You know, they're really a workhorse. And so if it's non-responsive, then let's try to jumpstart that. I mean, the other thing that we could do, like let's have you do that for a while, but
like a couple months?
yeah, I'd say like at least 30 days and then have me look at it again. But like sometimes what might happen is just to generate some movement in the area. You use something like peppermint, just, you know, you could either take a couple of drops or inhale it a whole bunch. And, you know, just taking it internally will start to stimulate the liver to start, like it jump starts the liver and starts the liver to detox. And then sometimes what happens is then that makes the liver more likely to react to treatment. And
Okay.
so, I mean, you could start with either one. Like you could, if you have peppermint, maybe just do peppermint for like a week. And then I'd probably wait till your tooth calms down though.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just because it jump starts the whole body and you don't need a bunch of blood, you know, getting stimulated in the area. And so, treat the liver with the peppermint for like a week, and then maybe after a week, then jump on the catabolic state with the trigger point blend, and then do that for 30 days, and then let's see how that goes. Yeah,
Great. Thank you.
yeah.
It's
I mean,
also been
we could be throwing like other things at the liver as well, but I kind of like the idea of what we're talking about rather than just trying to shotgun a bunch of things at the liver. Because if it's non-responsive to treatment, throwing a bunch more at it, it's not really going to probably improve it too much. You know what I mean? Like, so we need to like kickstart it somehow.
great. Thank you.
You're so
For the past, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 weeks, I'm feeling like my sleep is not restorative. Is that part of this catabolic equation
yeah,
as well?
that would totally be it. Yeah. So that just kind of verified what we're thinking. Yeah.
I mean, that's relatively recent and this cholesterol
Right.
thing's long
Yeah.
standing, but
So
I've noticed.
if you feel like you have time and everything, you know, going back to that thing that we were talking about, the auric programming, where you do the immune system, the nervous system, the endocrine system, and the muscular system.
That's stuff.
Yeah, maybe once a week or twice a week, just to jumpstart that anabolic state in the body. And, you're basically stimulating regeneration in the body. And so, you're treating it in the aura, which is the potential, and then you're treating it in the body with a vibrational state. And so you're kind of getting a good 1-2 punch.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll give it a go. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Channing, then Deborah.
Hey.
Hi, Greg. Did you get a chance to look at your text message? If you didn't, that's fine.
I didn't.
Okay. I am picking up all kinds of energies about related things that are going on. And I'm just wondering, how do I balance? Because it's really kind of throwing me off.
What do you mean by you're picking up energies?
I mean, I can just, I don't know. I just am absorbing. I'm not sure. I'm just processing and absorbing, not so gracefully, but I have been using Rue and it's not working.
Like, tell me some of the symptoms. Like, tell me what's happening.
I can detect one, which is so weird to say, and I'm sensitive to,
Mhm.
I'm definitely picking up energies and sensitive to just stuff that's happening around me and also about me. But it's impacting like my sleep and I can just feel it. It's just not, I don't feel very, and it's not a grounding issue, but it's hard for me to, it's sort of like a frenetic
So
type of
it's
energy.
happening at work, or it's happening at
Yeah,
home,
it's work
or it's
related.
work related.
So I started using Rue. I have been using Poplar and
Mhm.
it's not like cutting the cords as much as I thought it would be.
And we think it's cords.
See, that's the thing. I know it's something, I just don't know what it is. So
Okay.
here's the question. Um, how do I manage just this sort of weird feeling that I know things are being talked about and discussed. And it's almost like I can sense it when a conversation doesn't go well, or
Okay.
when I know like people are talking about me, I sense it.
Okay.
I sense when it's good and I sense when it's not so good.
Okay.
What is that? Is that psychic energy?
It probably is. Um,
And the way that I have dealt with that in the past is hyssop
mhm,
and rue, and
mhm.
it's worked. This time it's not. I'm not responding to it as much as before. There's a weight that I feel, and I can't shake it off. So Greg, both
Mhm.
good, both good and not so good things are happening at the same time.
Yeah.
And staying balanced has been a challenge. So I think that might be a better way to describe it to you.
Mhm.
So there are really good things that are in motion, and then there are not like there's challenges that I have
Okay.
to manage. And so what's happening is that it's throwing off my balance of being able to enjoy all the good things that are happening that are in motion
Right.
with, an outcome that isn't so great. And, a lot of it has to do with the personalities that's not so great.
Right. Okay. It doesn't look like a cord issue.
Oh, good. I mean, maybe that's why Rue isn't.
Yeah, it's probably why. And are you using Melissa or anything like that at all?
Not consistently, I haven't. In
Okay.
fact, I have
I mean, I would bump it up. I don't know that that's gonna be the thing that resolves it, but it would definitely help. Especially when you're going through a time of like flux. Um,
it's a lot of disruption.
do you have some form of Angelica?
I have Angelica.
Why don't you pull it out right now? Let's just do a little experiment.
Okay.
Okay, so like think of the situation or all the dynamics of the situation, and as you think about it, your awareness is on the heart. And then you're inhaling the Angelica for a second. And then keep inhaling the Angelica, let go of the heart, let go of the imagery, go down to the sex chakra. And just take nice, long, slow, deep breaths on the sex chakra. Now let go of the sex chakra. You're still inhaling it, but now your awareness is on your temples. And then do the sex chakra and the temples at the same time. Okay, and then just let it go for a second. How did that make you feel?
More expansive.
And like when you think of the situations, like how does that feel? Granted, the situations are still there, but like, sitting there being able to think about them and do whatever. How are you dealing with that?
It's like watching a movie of
Okay, perfect. That's what we were shooting for. I mean, you said it almost like perfectly, like feel like, basically detached or removed. And so let's have you do this for, the next few days or week or so until the situation resolves. Um, the thing with that is we have like these, um, we talk about automatic behaviors, automatic thinking. And so things will get triggered by the environment or situation, whatever it might be. And it's not in the thoughts, it's not in the emotions, it's like it's a triggered response, it's an instinctive response. And so, you set up the parameters enough and it stimulates a response. It's actually even kind of the idea of like what an altar is. Like you put all these things in the altar and you sit and you look at it and it kind of triggers a response in your body, like, oh yeah, we're going to meditate, or oh yeah, we're going to bliss out, or oh yeah, we're going to expand, or whatever it is. But most times we have it, and maybe not be massively negative, but like negative or whatever. But the thing with Angelica for this is like kind of going to be like a little excerpt out of the the plant teachers and the teachings of the crystal skull that's in November. It's like each plant has like this little like idea that it can treat um, in the automatic thinking and in the instinctive responses, and like how we then begin to behave with it, and here you're tempering with Angelica. Each plant has a different thing that it's treating, if it's one of the plant teachers. And Angelica is about instability, like your response to instability. And you're in a situation where there's a bunch of flux, like, it's until everything settles and, there's a few steps forward, it's going to feel unstable for a while. And your automatic behavior and thinking is really based more on past conditioning, and it's based on physiology that you were born with. Like some of it is you're born with it, and some of it is um, uh, like conditioned responses over a period of time. And no amount of thinking or feeling or positive thing, like it's just they get triggered. And so the thing that you have to do is you have to kind of go at it from the point of view of the automatic behavior and automatic thinking itself. And so how we talk about the three brains, you're dealing with here the sex chakra, which is the root brain, or like the lower brain, which is tied to your instincts and instinctual responses and somewhat of behaviors. And so even behaviors are automatic, like they're automated responses kind of. And so you're treating it there, but then you're taking it to the temples, which are then also hitting the prefrontal cortex, and then you bind the two. Like so you're combining your brain and the root brain, and then going, okay, in the place of stability, calm down. Like, and you're not calming down your brain, you're calming down like the triggers that makes your brain like start thinking those things or start reacting to those things. And so I would say for the next, however long this goes on, Angelica's in your pocket, and you just, even if you're having a little weird thing, you just think of the situation, like you can do it in a couple of minutes. Think of the situation, sex chakra, temples together, boom, done. And the more that you do it, it starts to turn into like, okay, normally this would be freaking me out, or normally this would be upsetting, or normally I would get all worked up, or whatever it is. And it's just like you said, you're watching TV, you're watching because you're calming down that little piece of your instinctual response. And then when you calm that down, the benefit of it is then you get to be emotional, you get to be cognitive, you get to like think it out. But until then, those responses happen, and it's almost like they override emotions and the mind. And so if you calm them down, then you can go, okay, emotionally, what am I feeling? Mentally, what am I feeling? And you can kind of like think it out and process it out. And so you just got to buy a little bit of that processing time so that you can generate the cognitive functions.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Like
So-
you know how I'm so excited about this class. The plant teachers and the crystal skull. Like it's probably going to be another one of those org programming kits where it's like 40 or 50 oils that are all just for doing this like reprogramming of the instincts. But you know, and they're all going to be single oils. I don't think I have any blends in there. But it's basically that. Like you're because what you're doing is you're tempering your instinctive responses, but also by doing that, you're tempering your five senses. And so that's why it's the plant teachers and the crystal skull. The idea of like the skull component is in several different traditions. It's how they do what they call like five senses purification or five senses offering, but basically like your senses get conditioned just like everything else. And so like you see something and it can trigger something, you hear something, it can trigger something, you smell something, it can trigger something.
You
Right?
sense, in my
Yeah.
case, I was sensing something.
Yeah. So and you're sensing it even in like the auric awareness, you know, that would still be a part of the sensing. And so you know, like you're walking down the street and you look over and somebody's staring at you and you're like, ugh. You felt that thing in your aura and it made you look over at them while they're like eyeballing you. Like it's an auric awareness, you know, it's an auric sense. And so, you know, like you said, there's people having conversations with you about you, you know, be it good or bad or both. And it just helps calm that down so that, okay, they're talking about me, but nothing I can do about it. You know, you do whatever you do, and then, you know, some of that's just out of your control or out of your reach. And so the goal would be to like keep yourself down so that like you don't lose sleep and you don't like, you know, get agitated and you don't, and I mean, things still happen, but it's a way to calm things down. And then you'll start noticing even how you perceive, like you hear a little better, you see a little bit better, you're able to focus in and gather more information. It sharpens your cognitive ability where you get like sharper about the things you're looking at and the things you're doing. And so I mean, basically what you're doing is another way of stimulating intuition or intuitive thought. And you know, you're getting some of that intuitional like information, but it's still the body gets a little agitated with it. You know, like when I first started being you know, clairvoyant, like I didn't do it through practice. Like I mean, I practiced, but it was through an empowerment. And so all of a sudden I could see like really well, just like almost like overnight. It was hard for a while because I like every time I would look, I'd get overstimulated. Like I
think that's what's
couldn't,
happening to me.
yeah, I couldn't go to the store. Like I remember having like almost borderline panic attack at Costco because like I had meditated. I go, I feel all peaceful. I'm gonna go to Costco. Ugh. Like I could feel everybody's thoughts, and I was just like, I'm never coming to Costco again. But after a period of time, it was fine. But it just got a little too much, and you just got to be able to like calm that down because all that information also makes you smarter. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you want to be able to access that information. You just don't want your body to get so overstimulated by it.
Yes. And just that short practice that we just did,
Yeah.
Greg, I realized what I thought was about me was actually about their frenetic and stress energy that I was picking
Sure.
up.
Oh yeah, totally. Most people the stress that we feel is more from others than from ourselves. Like it's usually about a 60-40. You know, about 40% is us, 60. Some jobs it's even worse. But it's usually about 60-40. Yeah. Like people in human resources, like you know, that kind of thing, it might even be like 80-20. Like it's usually bad. Like there are some jobs where it's really bad. But for most people, it's usually 60-40.
So, Sam, I don't know if you remember this, but when I ordered my Angelica, you guys ran out. So my bottle that I'm looking at has no label, and it's half of Greg's Angelica bottle and half of Sam's Angelica bottle.
Oh, that's super funny. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so this is like the no label bottle.
Right. That's super funny.
Angelica, so the oil that I have, what's the difference between that and Angelica seed or Angelica root?
For this, they're the same. You know, I would say the big difference between the seed, for one, the seed's a little bit less expensive. But other than that, the seed is a little bit better for treating endocrine deficiency. Like, you know, when the endocrine system is depleted.
Mhm.
Other than that, they're pretty identical.
What about the root? What do I have? Is it Angelica root?
Yeah, it's probably root. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. Thank you,
Yeah.
Greg.
Yeah. So just keep doing it. Like, you know, like when you find one that's working for you in a situation, just lean into it and just work it for a while.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I immediately and
Yeah.
automatically reach for Rue thinking,
Yeah.
I gotta cut the cords. I
Well,
gotta
normally that probably would have been accurate. You know what I mean? Like in a lot of situations, it's like, cut these cords and you know, because Rue is also like conflict resolution or you know, dealing with conflict and but this is a lot more refined than that. You know, there might be a little conflict there, but the conflict is just the instability. So I would say like treat it as that it's unstable, you know, because it is
Mm-hmm.
just for a while and then it will be stable again, but treat the instability, you know, treat your body's reaction to instability. Because you know, instability fires off the psoas and it tightens up the spine. And you know, it's like it has a chain reaction through the body. So the more that you can like calm that down, your physiology will stop reacting to it as much.
Okay. That was
Yeah.
great. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Deborah, then Lolly.
Hey, Deborah.
Hey Greg, hey Sam.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm up in Weaverville, North Carolina, looking for my place.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and of course I get here and I really get treated to the real fall. It's raining, cloudy, cold.
Oh, yeah.
And,
And it's
and
probably close to the leaves changing color and all that.
you don't really see that yet, so I don't get that benefit. That's a little.
Probably a few
I
more
think this
weeks.
will. Yeah, I think this will help trigger it. But
Yeah.
anyway, um, I uh, I was hoping that you could elaborate on this very important full moon that's about to happen.
The very important one.
Full moon.
Oh, which moon is this?
It's is it the Pisces full moon?
Yeah.
It's in Virgo. I mean,
It's a
we're
lunar
Virgo.
eclipse tonight.
The lunar
Mhm.
eclipse. Yeah.
Oh,
So
it's
there's
an
a lot
eclipse.
happening, and
Yeah.
all day long there's been really weird things happening. And I went into this one store, and this woman said,
Yeah.
it's the full moon. People
Yeah.
have been coming in and talking about how erratic things are happening. So I was just
Yeah.
hoping that you could kind of like, we spend a
I'll
lot of
just tell
time
you,
treating this stuff, but like, this is something external, right?
right. So the thing that I would say is just what we've noticed here, because like Samantha came back from going to the post office and she's like, all these weird things happen. Like it's been a weird week.
Mhm.
I would say like things that are unconscious or things that are hidden, I think would it seems to be like what's coming to the surface. And I would say even for, like, if I reflect on myself over the last few days, things that I thought were completely resolved from the past kind of reared their ugly head. You know, nothing major or bad, but it was like, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, you know. And so, you know, any time anything with the moon is about going like deeper into the unconscious. And so, you know, I'm sure there's somebody who could talk about it better about the astrological aspects, but just my observation over the last several days has been a lot more reflection, a lot more looking at things that I thought were resolved. And even if it's not like an old pattern, but like, say, there's something going on in your environment where there's a little bit of an issue, but like you just go, well, I'll deal with that later. It's like, no, you'll deal with me now. You know. And so, I mean, when you say that's pretty been our last 3 days or so. Yeah. And so
So there's an order for that, right?
yeah. I mean, if you want to lean into it, I'd work with like either the moon or the alchemical moon. If you don't have that, like things like wormwood or artemisia, or not artemisia, absinthium, Paracelsus, opodeldoc, you know, things of like that nature. But
Would be the application.
probably just inhaling, like, you know, I would say inhale, and depending on what might be going on, reflect on the situation. You know how we do that thing where you reflect on the external and then you come into the body. So it could be a person, it could be a situation, it could be a past event. And then, you know, inhale, like thinking of that situation, and then come back to the body. And part of what you're doing with that is, you know, you're connecting with that, and you're bringing up into the psyche, into the intuition to be processed. But sometimes it's not even so much about what you're looking at. It's more about being watchful. And like when you're watchful, like when you're embracing this like watchfulness, it changes how the mind processes the things going on, and you start to tap into more into intuition. And then beyond intuition starts to be like higher forms of consciousness, you know, because consciousness is really not of the brain is experiencing consciousness. And so the more that you can open up the brain to experience like higher consciousness, then the better that you will process the things that are happening, because we're always processing, we're always experiencing consciousness, but it takes a while for us to shift out of really processing and experiencing lower consciousness. And then we, you know, we meditate, we do healing, we sleep or whatever, and we experience a little bit of higher consciousness. And then we come back and, you know, we have to survive in the world. So we're having more experiences of lower consciousness. And then we like meditate or pray or do whatever. And then we start having more higher consciousness. And the more we tap into that higher consciousness, the more that the intuition gets stimulated, and you start problem solving, you start learning, you start adjusting, you start adapting, you know, you're breaking out of whatever the patterns are. So I would say just, I'd lean into it.
Is this true for all full moons, or specifically more so for this
I would say
one?
all full moons, like
Mhm.
definitely all full moons. They're all going to have their own little special sauce on them. You know what I mean? But you know, sometimes they're a little bit more potent, you know, because of astrological reasons, or like here we have an eclipse. So the astrological components play a little bit more of a role in our emotions and mind than we realize.
Oh, I'm aware.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so and it's especially like not great timing for me to stay really tapped into my awareness for the intuition. It's very muddled with all this going on. So it's one of the reasons why I was asking this, because it's you know what I'm saying, without like diving into that. It's just staying like not reacting, sensing what I'm feeling about an area and a place, and separating that out from reacting to the weirdness of everything going on.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, you know, it'll pass. So like how long are you there for?
I arrived Sunday night and I leave on Thursday afternoon. It's not, I don't have to be in a rush. I can come back. I just really wanted to get some of the unknown out of it. But
Sure.
you know, the more that I can get a better sense and a feel, the more I think that a lot of my fight or flight stuff that's going on settle.
Well, so like, you know, you're looking at this place as a potential. I would walk around and still like have your experiences, and then every time you go, that's weird, chalk it up to a full moon. You know what I
Okay.
mean? You
I
know,
love it.
that's kind of the way I would do it. Like, it's probably full moon, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I
Thanks so
mean, there's
much.
some places where it might not be the full moon, but like that place, it's probably, you know, it's been a little weird for a couple of days.
Yeah. Like me getting locked out of my place when I arrived.
Right,
And
exactly.
never had that happen. Yeah.
Right.
Thanks.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Lolly, then Cynthia.
Hey, Lolly.
Hey, I just have a follow-up question on what you just talked about, regarding train of thought, regarding the Angelica. So a couple of things about that. So we did the ginger lily on the weekend with a similar thing with the sex chakra and the temples, which was really powerful. And now with the Angelica, I actually don't have Angelica, but I have on the table resonance, which has a lot of Angelica in it. So I kind of played along, and
I
I
would
did
do it
that
with single
tonight.
oils. I would do it with
Right.
single
So
oils. Yeah.
so the question was if there's any, so it still felt really powerful, like it really relaxed me, and I was like, oh, this is nice. But really, is there any substitute to the oils, or is it just because each one is doing something different?
Yeah, each one does something different. And so I mean, if you're shooting for instability, Angelica would be the one, but it might be something else going on. Like you know what I mean? So like what are you trying to address?
I actually, for that specific thing, you gave her a pattern, you gave her an oil, and I was like, let's see what it does, because I have something similar that might work. And I just feel quiet. Like my mind feels quiet, everything just feels better overall. So I was,
Let me just look at you for a second here real quick. Why don't you try it with vetiver?
Okay.
Should we just do it? I might as well
Am I
just-
doing the same? So am I doing the same pattern?
Okay. Okay, we're gonna like rush through this real quick. So
Okay.
think about the situation. Your awareness is on your heart.
Oh, wait, I need, yes. Okay.
So you're inhaling it. Your awareness is on your heart. And then let it all go. Keep inhaling. Your awareness is on the sex chakra. And then go to your temples. And then the sex chakra and temples both at the same time. And then just be still for a second. And how did that feel?
It was okay. The Angelica was relaxing. This one doesn't, I don't feel more,
Well, it's going to do something. It's going to be do something different.
yeah, it's like I feel more awake maybe. My head feels heavy.
Yeah. Do this one for a little while.
What is it supposed to,
Helps with bringing things forth.
okay.
Yeah.
So
And
try that
doing-
like once a day or so.
You can do it a couple times a day. Yeah.
Okay.
But think about the things that you're trying to do. It's about bringing something forth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try that. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Cynthia.
Hey, Cynthia.
Okay, hello. Hi, thank you. I'm not gonna put my video on because I actually drove to football practice and then I noticed the time and I'm like, oh, maybe I have some time to get a question in. But thank you so much for your time. So hold on, let me kind of process. So I came across human design a couple months ago.
Uh-huh.
And I have actually been studying, well, I've been using and studying essential oils for about 20 years.
Mhm.
And when I came across human design, I fell in love with the technique. I mean, it resonated with me. I'm
Mhm.
just like all in, learning. I didn't even know that you can combine human design with the essential oils. When I found that out, that was just like a party happening in my
Right.
aura, because I was like, wow, like that's, anyways,
Right.
that's how I came across your company. And so I had been trying to email. I know that there was like where you can like send your chart and then they'll give you a suggestion, but I never got any info back. And so with that being said, my question would be, starting out, somebody like me, where would I go forward? So I am a generator with a sacral authority, a 3-5 profile. I'm just trying because there's so much information.
Sure.
And I'm trying to.
Let me see just a sec. Like, so, so apparently, the person who would reach out to you was having a problem with that email. And so maybe, do we need to confirm the email, or like what was the issue?
They just said, go ahead and send it again. So if you want to do that, if you would, go ahead and request that again so you can get that, and they'll, it sounds like it's working again.
Yeah.
So.
And they'll give you like a little like consultation with it all and help you like with the integration of all that.
Okay.
Like they'll give you some one-on-one.
Yeah, because it's just a lot. It's a lot, and I'm just trying to figure out. And so, it is something that I am. I feel really called to do it as my sacred work. That I've literally been training for this, and it just kind of like came into my life the last couple of months ago. So, of course,
great.
with that being said, I'm the type of person that I try everything before it needs to resonate with me before I share it.
Sure.
I'm ready to take that step into applying using the oils with the two things that I'm doing. And it's just, I'm like, where do I start? And not only that, yeah. I do have 3 teenage boys that I homeschool, and they're, I pulled up their charts, and I really want to help them on their path as well. And so, where do I start? With as a family, as a whole unit, I just want to know,
Yeah, so we like sorry that we didn't get back to you on that. Like, we have kind of a little system that we have set up, and we have somebody who is a human design practitioner that will reach out to you and kind of help you through that. And they do both the oils and the human design, so they'll kind of help you get started with all that.
Okay, let me ask you, Craig. So I've noticed that I'm not very familiar with. I just kind of stumbled upon you guys, and I'm drawn to you, of course, obviously energetically, but I noticed that you kind of like tap into people's energy as well. Can you do that? And just for fun, hearing my voice, is there anything that comes through?
Was there things going on in your life that like what's going on these days?
Oh man, I have a lot going on. So I right now am on a very I'm on a healing journey. Well, of course we all are, right? And okay, it's a lot. It's a long story. I know your time is limited. I don't know. Hold on, let me just going on specifically. What do you mean? What are you asking? Like,
is life stable? Is there like some issue that you're dealing with? Or?
Oh yeah, I mean, my 24-year. This is very personal, but I've been married for 24 years. I've been with my husband since I was 16, and right now so when I started healing and going through my awakening, he just kind of like went backwards.
Okay.
And that's when I kind of started finding human design, because I've been trying to figure out who I am for the last my whole life. I'm 42 right now, and I've been struggling with a lot of health issues my whole life, autoimmune, a lot of ancestral trauma, a lot of trauma from growing up, a lot of programming, a lot of things like that have like affected me physically, and a lot of things that I have tried. That's how I got into essential oils, and they worked, but it wasn't like, it didn't stick. It was human design has been something that has really helped me see me for who I really am,
Mm-hmm.
and has really shifted my healing into another whole level, which is, to me, it's a miracle. It's something that, you know, I've been waiting for, and I know the time was right now. With that being said, I'm just very confused about what's happening with my relationship, my marriage for the past 24 years, because I've been the one that has fixed everything. I've been the spiritual one. I've been the one that's kind of been the foundation and held everything together, which is one of the reasons why I got sick. I can understand that now. And so the major thing, I mean, I'm doing great. I'm healing. I'm coming home to myself. I can say that more so every day, which feels very free and liberating. On the other hand, I have this, big heaviness of my relationship. I'm trying to step back and see the bigger picture of what our soul purpose is and what we chose. But I really just don't have any control with that right now. And that's what's kind of like, an issue with me per se.
So the thing that I would do right off the bat, because it sounds like there's a lot of different things going on in your life, and you're going to have somebody that you're interacting with the human design, but let's just talk about like your physiology a little bit. And
Okay.
the two things that I would say, besides the human design is I would do things to like reduce bronchial spasms in the lungs. And the thing is like it will calm down a lot of things in the body, and then how we interact with like the environment. And different things can cause these spasms to happen, but basically, like if there's emotions, it will amplify it. If there's body tension, it amplifies it. If it's stress, it amplifies it. And you're going through a lot of different things, and you're, like you said, you're having issues with what's going on in the marriage and what's going on in all these different areas. And so we want to calm down the physiology. Like any of us, we would want to calm down the physiology so that we're processing it for what it is, and not having the body go, no, this is not a 2 on the pain level, it's a 10. You know what I mean?
Right.
We want to be able to like make more cognitive decisions and more intuitive decisions. And like any time that like some of the physiology is like a little bit overactivated or a little hyper reactive, which happens to all of us, like it puts us more into intellect and less into intuition. And here intuition isn't just pieces of information coming in. It's how we learn, it's how we grow, it's how we heal, it's how we innovate, it's how we break out of these patterns that we're trying to heal from. And so, be it that it's right now or something that's been going on for a decade, or like you said, something maybe that's been going on in the family. And so two things that I'd like for you for that would be to calm down, or not calm down, but like open up the bronchioles, because the lungs are a way to tap into the unconscious. It's a way to shift our consciousness. It's a way for us to connect with things outside of ourselves. Like there's so many things wrapped up into the lungs that I would say, like, do that. And so like, just the standard choices, like probably like hyssop or frankincense. Like, do you have some frankincense?
I do, but I would probably order yours because mine are probably not the highest quality. So I just want to.
So if you're going to order something, actually order Larch. Like I would get Larch for you. Yeah. Because man, it will feel so nice. It will open that up, but it also does some things to the nervous system that you'll find probably that you like. It's one of my favorite oils.
And how would I apply that, Greg? How would
like a lot of inhalation. You could put a few drops like on your chest, or if you want to put it down on your calves or on your abdomen, but a lot of it would be through inhalation. And as you inhale it, put your awareness on your lungs. And then the other thing that I like for you is there's this thing that it's like how we process information in the body and from our environment. And it's this like set of nerves that runs up and down the spine. And I would use something like lemongrass or spikenard is what I like to use a lot, but lemongrass would work. The myrrh would work, and there's this oil called galbanum. Galbanum would work, and so we'll send you a pattern. It sounds like you're on a phone, so even if we post it right now, we'll get your email. Do we have her email or?
I'll have you emailed us at info@plantpiranhaoils.com that you know of, or just through the human design link?
I don't know. I've
It's
several I've done several emails.
Yeah.
I think I have. Okay. Yeah, I think I have your email.
Okay, so we'll email you a pattern for the spinal thalamic tract.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of grieving going on, and I think it's not just with me, it's with the whole entire family, because my 17-year-old is always like gagging, like coughing up stuff, and I've been trying to help him like using things, but I think I'm just too emotionally interconnected that I'm having a hard time trying to help him. So that's interesting because I've been actually looking, I've been asking, you know, for guidance on that, but he just always like gagged, like he's got a lot of stuff in his lungs, and I think it's just breathing. We're all breathing.
You can have him do the stuff with the larch as well.
Okay.
So and so somebody will be reaching out to you. I'm sorry, we have to jump over to another stream. You can join us on this other one, but we're going to do a little prayer and meditation thing. But send us an email, the Plant Piranha, if you have more questions. So sorry.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Good talking with you though.
Likewise, God bless.